So facial reflexology, where just like the palms of the hands, just like the soles of the feet, there are sections of the face that are illuminating messages from the lungs, for example.
So can you see if a guy's like a liar?
Yes.
How? Welcome back to the OverheardLA podcast. I'm Emily, and here's my crystal.
And I'm Justina from OverheardLA, and I have no crystal.
You will later, though, because we're doing something really cool today.
I'm very excited
I know.
about today.
I feel like we cannot move on until we talk about the stories that people were sending into the account the other day about, did you see all of the stuff that was happening about like secret, like basically people lying about their marriages? And it was sketch. Here's the thing. This wasn't even like a question box. So let's set the scene. This was not a question box. I did not say send in stories about like secret marriages, whatever. Basically, somebody sent in a DM saying a guy I was dating once told me he was going to a business meeting, but I later found out he was getting married that day. Yeah. So here's what happened.
What day was it on? What?
It was like,
He had a business meeting on a Saturday?
so I posted that on our
You do like to get messy in the DMs
Oh,
sometimes.
baby, I love a mess. I posted that and unprompted got a avalanche of DMs that were like similar situations of people talking about how like somebody was lying about their marriage or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like one after another. And then of course, I kept posting them anonymously, obviously. But it was like, oh my God, like what is happening out there? So can I just read a couple of these so you understand what I'm talking about?
Please.
Guy I was talking to was stressed out because he had, quote, a lot of friends coming into town this weekend. Later found out they were coming into town that weekend for his wedding.
What's with all the boys with the secret weddings?
And I don't want to be like, here's the thing. I don't want to be like, oh, we're like hating on men. But they're all men. There's no women who are lying about having a wedding while they're talking to other people.
But also, how silly. Why would you even say that your friends are coming to town? Because then I'm assuming you were not going to introduce her to your friends. So why even bring it up?
I was
Silly
dating a
boy.
guy for 3 months. Then one weekend, he didn't text back at all. Finally called to apologize, saying he was out of town and had no cell service. Turns out he was getting married to his girlfriend of 10 years.
I do not understand the secret weddings. It's very bizarre.
Well, it's not the secret weddings. It's like the secret, like,
No, the
affair.
secret relationship. But like,
But can you imagine?
no, but I would love to know how these people found out. That's fun for me.
Yeah. I mean, if you are one of the people out there, first of all, thank you to everyone that sent these in because these are incredible. And I hope it was somewhat healing and therapeutic to send these to the account and see us post and roast these men. But like, oh my God. Like,
That's also crazy. A 3 month, like I understand. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't understand, but if you have like a one night stand or something, like a little like, but a 3 month relationship, that's pretty aggressive.
basically in between all of these DMs were people just being like, this is why I'm not dating. Like, these are like plots of movies and they're all
You
happening.
feel like that can't be real until it
here's
happens
one
to
about
you.
found out mine was getting married. Found out the guy I was dating was getting married because he paid his dad for the rehearsal dinner on Venmo.
Venmo will tell on you every single fucking time.
Every time.
Every
Every
time.
time.
I think it's like LinkedIn where people don't know that you can go on private mode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with Venmo. I'm like, you have to just not know that you could be private
Yeah.
because like I should not know that like
Why do I
you
see
got a
you doing drug
haircut.
deals?
Yeah, like I feel like some people, it's so fun. It's my favorite
Yeah.
social media app is Venmo to see like what people are up to.
Uh-huh.
But just the couples, I don't know. I'm just like, can't like one of you buy dinner and then the next
Yeah.
week the other one buy the dinner? Like why are
Or
we
it's
doing
how you
this?
know people are hanging out, or it's like people that broke up, you see the Venmos and it's like, oh, they're fucking, like it's like
It's fun. It
I
is
know when
fun
you're
to
hanging
find
out
out a
again.
secret.
a couple more because these are so insane. I was hooking up with a guy and he kept getting and ignoring a bunch of phone calls. When we were done, he said he had to go to his friend because he was in the hospital. 1 month later, I find out the friend was his baby mama and she was in the hospital giving birth.
No.
Like, Who are these people?
But also put yourself in the shoes of the baby mama.
I
Like you're giving fucking birth
know.
and your baby daddy is like
Is,
out there
like,
fucking somebody
fucking
else.
around.
I'm pissed.
I'm not gonna lie, this gave me like a terrible outlook on what's going on out there.
I think all you can do is remember that there's a lot of people in the world. Like you just have to like chalk it up to a numbers game and be like, all right, we're working with like 7 billion.
And these are like the sample size of the people who've been really wrong. It's like Yelp.
Yeah, exactly.
The only people that write reviews are the people that are like, I hated it. So like we're getting all the 1-star men in our
But it
DMs
is tough when
right
you
now.
get all of those. You're just like, fuck, I'm never going back to that restaurant. And that restaurant is men.
I once had a boyfriend that DM'd a pic on Insta to me and all of his exes, and it created a group chat. That guy wins.
Instagram does fuck you in that case. Because have you ever tried to, like, you cannot individually send a message.
It's a group chat.
That's fucking funny.
So anyway, that was just crazy.
I didn't want to say this on the podcast because we're going to get fucking roasted by the men of life. Sorry. But I do think that men just like are able to like detach for like in the way that like I feel like I can't detach. Like my calendar is all like it's all living together, and I feel like men could be like, oh, 2 to 4 affair, 5 to 6 dinner with wife, and you're like, what?
Well, also right before your wedding, especially like
that's crazy.
Men like the schedule before a wedding, like I would say in like the month countdown, the fact that a man is like out there cheating the day before his wedding is absolutely insane. It's like facial, hair, like touch-ups. They have
but why
nothing
aren't the
to
men
do.
doing these things? Why aren't they getting a pedicure? Why aren't they getting a facial?
I don't know. I'm trying to. I just as you were saying that, I was trying to think like if Ian did anything. Oh, he doesn't have a toenail. You're right. To clarify for context, my husband is missing a single toenail because he dropped a cinder block on his toe years ago.
Building houses in Honduras.
Because he's a very good person.
I do think we should acknowledge that because I was very icked out and then I was like, oh, God damn it.
But that's all to come back to why he wasn't getting a pedicure right before our wedding. But
he should have gotten a fucking fake toenail. It's so good. Hot pink.
Got an implant. I mean, he could have gotten Gel X. I got Gel X.
No, my friend ran a marathon and lost toenails, and they just like will slap a new one on for you.
Oh,
when you go to the nail salon, anything is possible.
They
will wax you. They will give you a fucking fake nail. They'll do your hair, makeup, whatever you need. Massage.
Is there anything worse, by the way, than when you go to a nail salon to get like I remember getting my eyebrows done before the wedding, and they're like mustache too.
The fucking mustache is so fun. And then you're like, okay, so what are my fucking options here? To be like, no, thank you. I'll keep my mustache. Or like, you know what I mean? I always go back to the fact that I'm like, no, thank you. I'm a mammal. Like, I just like keep reminding myself that we are mammals.
That's a great response.
That is like what I've trained myself to think because I'm like, it's just, there's hair everywhere. And you just have to be like, nope, I am a mammal. And that's okay.
Oh my God. We have a very cool guest on the way. You guys know we've had some healers on the podcast before. This one is very, very Overheard LA. We're going to find out a lot about our faces and our minds and our body. So Julie Civiello Polier is a celebrity facialist, Reiki master, and intuitive guide. She does facial mapping, which is reading your face, like reading palms. And we are going to bring her to the office to show us how it all works. Welcome to the office, Julie.
Yay.
Hello again.
Hi. We're very excited to have you. Although I did say that I'm a little bit afraid of what's about to go down here.
Justina's a little bit afraid of what you're gonna read on her face. I went to Topanga and got a facial reading from Julie for our Overheard show, and I found out a lot. Namely that I had daddy issues, which we probably will see on your face as well. But
Emily's just diagnosing me with daddy issues off the bat. Thank you.
It was so fascinating. We're so ready for this. So to the people that have not done this before, could you just explain to everyone, like walk us through what you do? I know you do so many different things, but walk us through it.
The face reading is a Chinese medicine modality for diagnosing health imbalances. So it's been in practice for over 5,000 years. I've been studying the 5-element lineage. My teacher has been doing this for over 45 years and his teacher before him. And I found it fascinating because working as a facialist on thousands of different faces, there were so many other conversations being had while I was massaging or, applying a mask or whatever. And I was like, what is really happening here? We'd see recurring skin messages, as I like to call them, whether it's a pimple or a rash or melasma, a new wrinkle. And to me, it always felt like there was a really constant and important message to be received through each one of them, and that each one of them had a significant meaning. So I got into face reading about 15 years ago. And then the past couple years, with everything becoming so virtual, I've stopped giving facials and been giving face readings. And I find it's really empowering for everyone because, one, we hold so much on our faces, and our faces offer ourselves to the world. It's the mask that we hide behind, and it's also our full reveal.
So I was saying I have a pimple. I was saying I have a face message.
Yeah,
it's like a text message, but I got a little face
Put on
message
your face.
right here.
Is face reading the same as facial mapping? Is that the same?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes. So facial reflexology, where just like the palms of the hands, just like the soles of the feet, there are sections of the face that are illuminating messages from the lungs, for example, from the sex organs, from the intestines. Spleen, for example, you can't really claw your fingers underneath your rib cage and be like, okay, I'm going to massage my spleen, but you can go up to your temples and your spleen is actually feeling that touch and that massage.
So does each organ and part of the body have like a corresponding place on the face? Like, could you say my kidney hurts and you could say, well, this is where it is on your face?
Yes, exactly. So if your kidneys are hurting, you can just lovingly press right underneath the eyes in like where the dark circles are. So that's a kidney imbalance.
Okay.
This
so
is
we're going to
so
have to go body
interesting
part by body
because
part.
I was thinking that it was very like reactive, right? So you're like, if I come in and you're like, oh, this is a flare up, but it can also be proactive, right? So if you're
Absolutely.
like, that's really interesting to me.
Yes. So face reading can be up to 2 years into the future diagnostic.
Wow.
And then iridology, the reading of your eyes, irises, is up to 7 years into the future.
What?
So it's just wild to me that so much of Western medicine doesn't tune in and invite Eastern medicine, because it's very revealing and it's very accurate.
So did your path into this, it started because your clients were saying like, oh, this is going on, or this is going, just like in chatting, right?
Yes.
And then that's kind of what spurred your interest and you looked into it that way?
Yes.
That's
and
so
also
cool.
I would be massaging them and then they would say, whoa, while you were working in this area, this was going on in my body. And they would describe something going on in that organ. I was like, okay, this is real.
Could you go through with us, like, or you've read my face before, maybe reading Justina's face.
Yeah.
And what we're going to put Justina on there today of like what each area of the face represents.
Okay, so just breathe. Yeah.
I'm like,
You're like, oh my gosh, hold my breath.
I've never taken a breath before in my life.
I'll just narrate if anything's happening.
Nice. Just because it's a lot sometimes to be seen and to be so loved, to be met with such little judgment or no judgment at all, right? Because we sometimes hold so much against ourselves. And so many people I find hold their breath when I'm offering a face reading. So just breathe. So with a face reading, we always start with face shape. You most predominantly are a jade shaped face because you have really accentuated cheekbones. So this is actually the most prominent part of your face. It's the widest part and the most prominent. So jades have brains that work 20 times faster than most people. And already, even before we were recording and now, like you got zingers. I like can't even turn around and you're already like, and this and this and this. Just 20 times faster than most people. And so sometimes jades can make really incredible interior decorators because they don't need to be a part of the process. They can see the outcome. So you can be walking down a hallway, you glance over your shoulder, you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly where the couch should go. And moving on, you're already on to the next
Justina's
thing.
apartment is impeccably decorated.
Amazing.
I've
'Cause
like
it's
complimented
just
you on it
natural.
before.
It's just completely natural. It's not even a second thought. I need to move that couch 5 times around the room to be like, here? I don't know. Here? Maybe. So you don't have to be a part of the process of things so much. You can hold the vision for the outcome. So amazing fashion designers are jade faces, where the cheekbones are just super accentuated, wide, high, sharp. Also amazing matchmakers.
Ooh.
Amazing
love
producers. You know what kind of people would meld well together, would mesh well together. I think of it like, I don't know if you've seen Benedict Cumberbatch in Sherlock Holmes, where it's like the mind architecting and there's like the crime scene is kind of zooming, the parts and objects are zooming around the room and the window shatters and then the window comes back together. You have that kind of brain where you can see things and time and space don't really apply to you in the same way that they do with other people.
This is really resonating. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that is how my brain
You were
works.
so nervous about like, this is so cool.
Well, don't worry. The daddy issues are coming. We're not there yet.
So a few other face shapes that are prominent, we have jade first in the accentuated cheekbones. You also have a bit of a bucket, which I do as well. Bucket face. We got to love them. It's a wide
Wait,
open
what's
forehead.
a bucket face?
Wide open forehead, which
Oh.
you do too, Emily. We want to
Let's go, bucket
fill.
face.
This is now the Bucket Face podcast.
That's right.
Welcome back.
We want to fill our buckets with wisdom and knowledge. So
I like
endlessly
that.
curious.
Okay.
Huge wide open crown chakra. We're just thinkers. We think a lot, very intellectual, but also
I don't fucking stop thinking.
it's like that hunger, that voracious learning. We never want to be done learning.
That's why I want to be a CIA agent.
I was just saying I'm
Oh, really?
I'm in the process of trying to sell myself as a
Justina,
CIA
this is
agent,
like
but
the-
I keep telling it to
No.
everybody, so it's not gonna work.
this is the 5th time you have said on this
This is
podcast that you want to be a CIA agent.
hysterical.
You cannot be in the CIA if you keep making it public.
Joke's on you. I'm gonna be in the FBI then.
My mind is just like bucket head, always thinking, and then you're like always hungry. I'm always thinking about my next meal. Definitely a bucket.
You also have a bit of a king shaped face. So king shows up in the accentuated jaw, like a really strong jaw. And you have this dimple in the center of your chin, which is very charming.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know if I think
I think
that.
the medical term for the jaw thing is snatched.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Is that a medical term? I got to get on board with.
I think that's like a Dr. Miami medical
king.
term.
No,
You'll
I like king.
understand.
King is great. I prefer king.
So kings are vision holders, just like jades.
That's so interesting because I've been on this new journey and like telling myself that like it's okay if it's a mess because I've gotten to a place in the past few years where I find that I'm so like everything has to fit in the box. And you are now the second version of like some, like somebody in this space on this podcast that has told me like you have to like let things go and kind of like, like let things be a mess for lack of a better word. And I feel like I really need to hear that message.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's embracing your whole self because we're very messy humans. We're so imperfect.
And that's the thing, messy. I think messy is such a tough word because it implies that it's not good, whatever.
Right.
But it's just like, it's okay if everything isn't like in this like perfect little square box.
Yes, because that's rigid and you're not breathing when you're doing that. And you're setting yourself up for failure and disappointment again and again and again. And that can happen with jade faces.
Interesting.
Because there is an affinity for perfection. They're chasing perfection, which isn't real. And perfection is fear-based.
Yeah.
And you said both of us are jades.
Indeed.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So I guess my question to you, because I feel like your work is not necessarily aesthetic based, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure to some degree, but you're not like, you're trying to heal versus, hey, make my eyebrows higher.
Yeah.
But also I guess like that's then a side effect of it, right?
Yeah, it's a great side effect of, okay, great. We don't have puffy eyelids anymore.
Yeah.
We have contoured cheekbones. We have a jawline, how do they say? on fleek. I'm like the worst millennial.
No, I love it. The way you said it, it also sounded French.
You said it
On
very
fleek?
French.
On fleek. So that's the happy benefit.
Yeah.
That's not my focus.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, great outcome,
Great-
right? Like
great
if I could
side
get
effect.
a twofer,
Right.
like heal me and fix my face.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do. Like,
Okay, let's go part by
Head to
part.
toe, top to bottom.
Yes. Yes. So looking at the very top, we look at the hairline.
Okay.
These are the years of early childhood up until some maps say 14, some maps say 21. So if your hairline were really jagged and uneven, mine used to be, that would reveal, a lot of tumultuous times, a lot of challenge with parents, a lot of rebellion, a lot of lack of foundational support or presence and availability from your parents.
I'm interested.
Emily's like, what kind
Well,
of
because I'm
You're
kind
like-
of self-conscious about my
The shape of it.
hairline.
Mm-hmm.
Is that jagged or is that just a widow's peak?
That's a widow's peak, but you
Oh,
also have a
okay.
bit of an M, which is incredible business acumen, like savvy. Mm-hmm.
She's
All right.
a boss.
Welcome to
She's
The
a boss.
Apprentice. Where's my gold pen? Okay, keep going.
So that's hairline. Then we go down to forehead. Forehead reveals colon and a little bit of kidneys as well.
Mm-hmm.
Less so. It's more like, have you ever noticed sometimes on your forehead if you get these bumps, they're like little horns right here?
I know what you're saying. I don't find that happens
Good.
a lot, but I know what you're saying.
It's a sign of major dehydration.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
I'm super hydrated.
Yeah, I
somehow.
feel like we're
So
pretty
good.
hydrated
Yeah.
girlies.
wonderful.
I get like breakouts on my forehead for sure, like
And
uneven
that's
skin,
because of
but-
colon and diet.
Mhm.
So the colon shows up on the forehead and it's in the same exact shape of the colon, within our guts, which is up the right, across the left, down the left. So it's a great place to massage, if you're constipated. This area around the mouth, same shape, up the right, across to the left, down the left. This is where you would massage if you're really, really constipated and you need some help.
So like,
Is
if
that the
I-
one that goes really fat? Is that the one that you guys did on the
Yeah,
show?
where I was like, don't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it
yeah.
too many times
And I
right
was
now.
like, wait, what?
And
And
she's
then you're
doing
like,
it again.
let's go.
Emily's trying to
So
shut
like,
her
if you do this,
Yeah. What Emily's doing is going up the right side of her mouth, across to the left, between nose and top lip, and then down the left side.
like I could like theoretically like shit my pants.
You
if
keep
I do
playing
this
with
too many
fire. You've done this on the show
Yes.
too. What are you trying to
Yes.
do?
Well, I'm not pressing that hard.
It doesn't, you don't have to press hard.
Okay, then I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
because
You
we
have
gotta.
your
You can
diaper
also, we're very committed to the podcast. We don't go to the bathroom.
no break.
No,
Just wear
we
diapers.
don't break. We don't break for anything.
You can also massage inside the corners of the mouth. So reaching one finger in, using your thumb on the outside to massage this corner, and then
And that
go to
helps
the
with
left corner.
constipation.
Yes.
Wow.
And I've had friends text me from all over the world, like I'm in, Mexico City, I'm in Norway, I'm in whatever. And they are like, I forgot my magnesium. I'm so constipated. I'm eating food that's not on my diet. And I said, okay, just do this. And I'll send them a little video. And they're like, I shit you not. Actually, I do. That took less than 2 minutes.
So massaging. So the people that are audio, that's what, thumb in the mouth,
Yes. So either pointer finger or
finger,
thumb
in the mouth.
in the right corner, and then
Oh,
have your
right.
other finger on the outside.
Oh, like a fish hook almost.
A fish hook. Yeah, good visual. And then you go to the other side. And just 3 times, 3 circles. Doesn't have to be super hard. It does help if you're breathing.
Don't try this if you're driving and listening to this podcast right now. Wait
Yeah.
till you get home.
Imagine
Just
you're on the
wait.
405 gridlock and you're like, I'm going to shit my pants. I do like that well, I'll let you walk through the rest of the face,
Yes.
but I do feel like so far you've said like you don't have to do it because I think I've always been hesitant because I'm like, I have to now do an hour-long massage on my face and that like, see you later.
Or on
No.
TikTok when they're like, here's how I gua sha for 20 minutes a day. It's
Right.
like, that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, who can do that?
Yeah.
I don't care if you barely work. Who wants to do
Who
that?
wants to do that? Right. Because I'm like, even at the time, I'm like, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah. That's what's been so fun working with clients in the deep dive sense for a month, because I will make a very specific massage protocol, like a prescription for them based on the face reading. And then we do another face reading at the end of the 4 weeks. And that's where we see in such detail all of the differences. So this one client only massaged for 2 minutes a day, doing very little. There weren't a million things that I worked into the 2-minute prescription. Her whole face changed.
Wow.
The jaw, the bones all reorganized. You could actually see her eyes moved in her skull and opened up.
We're going to need some homework at the end of this.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
Let's get a plan.
It's kind of like, you know, a really wrinkled linen shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then we take a steamer and we're like, oh, it's all
want a
smooth
steamer.
again.
Soothing. Steaming.
So it's just this loving steamer. We're not like digging into the muscles. We're not trying to move the eyeball over. It's just like, how can we so subtly and lovingly get in there without even alerting the nervous system?
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, emotionally, colon is about letting go. We get into gallbladder, which is upper eyelids and eyebrows. This is often emotionally about resentment. Women tend to lose their gallbladder 8 more times than men. Often because in family scenarios, the mother will take on the emotional well-being of everyone involved. We tend to say, oh, okay, I'll just do it. It's faster. I don't have to explain it, because then if I explain it, then I'm taking on yet another role of managing. And so we often, and you'll see it in my face, I have puffy eyelids. And it's something I'm working on, to ask for help.
So the resentment can come, it doesn't have to be just in home life. It can be in other places.
Absolutely.
Do you guys want to know something crazy? One of my friends and I, we are constantly, you know, we're doing like what's going on with your face? Like, I want to like this. And both of us have been talking about our eyelids just like feeling very like droopy, and like, you know, are the like brows feeling droopy. And what's really insane is that she just found out she's having gallbladder issues. And so this all checks out.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of the brows is liver.
Okay.
So you'll see liver lines or frown lines or 11 lines on people.
Yeah.
You don't have any. But this is about an anger issue. Liver is about anger. And so often when you see people with these lines, it's actually not that they have anger problems. It's often that they internalized their own bigger feelings because their parents had issues with alcohol or addiction of some kind or narcissistic tendencies. So there was no room for the child to express or release in any sort of supportive way. They had to kind of walk on eggshells to survive and try to keep the beast from exploding.
Wow, interesting.
And it'll show, you know, if it was the mother, it'll show more towards the right eyebrow, because the right side of our face is our mother's influence. And it'll show with the father, if maybe the father was an alcoholic, it'll show on the left side because left is our father's influence. When people get Botox, that's usually an area that they get it in, right in between the brows. Now, the benefit of Botox is that it freezes the muscle and hopefully retrains it. And if we're massaging, maybe we can maintain that on our own without an injection that's full of, you know, there's major potential side effects.
Yeah.
And again, everybody gets to do what they want with their body. I have zero judgment, and I
So
support
you're
anyone.
maintaining like the release, because we have, we were talking about, especially in LA, like you work in LA as facialist. You have a lot of celebrity clients who we won't make you name because you're probably under NDA, but in LA, like there's a lot of facial surgery and treatments, and
Yes.
where does that come in with face mapping? Like
Amazing question.
Surgery, Botox, filler, like how do you navigate that?
Well, it all becomes a part of the face reading. So it's not masking anything. It just becomes a feature that we then read. And it has...
Even if it's not natural, like even if
Yes.
it's not like a genetic feature, it
Yes.
still becomes interesting.
And it will have emotional and biological shifts because of it. So
Oh.
for example, if somebody is... We'll go to the liver lines again. So right in between the brows, if people are getting this done, you know, maybe people stop asking them after they've had Botox, what's wrong all the time? Because they're not frowning.
Your resting bitch face is gone.
Exactly. Or if people are getting lip injections with filler, the more and more one gets, their self-involvement will also increase. Their selfishness will increase.
Because lips are
Tend to do with indulgence or appetite or pleasure, sensuality. The spleen is at the temples, as we've recently mentioned. So we'll just go across that brow. Spleen is our measurement for happiness, our ability to create and cultivate our own contentment. We go down to eyes. The eyes are ovaries and testes. So you think about the eyes being our vision, which is the starting point for any manifestation. We start to envision and we start to feel, in a sensory way. What is it we want to create? And the seed of all creation is in the ovaries, our eggs, our sperm. So the eyes reveal, depending on how big they are or how small, closed, heavy lidded, whatever it might be, how much information from the world we can take in. You have very large eyes and they're spread far apart, which indicates to me that you are a humanitarian. You have the ability to sense other people's feelings.
Can you teach our audience some things that people can do at home? Like the colon thing, like the handy, like things that people can do either with the tools or without the tools, like lifting the eyes or just like little things that people can do at home based on whatever ails them. Cause I feel like you have solutions to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Any feature in particular? You want to just pick one?
Do you have one? What about eyes? Like
I'm all about lifting the
eyelids. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Okay, so you have loving gentle knuckles above the eyebrow.
Loving gentle knuckles.
And then
I just like that phrase.
And then loving fingertips underneath the eyebrow. And then we're just tracing with a loving lift underneath with those 3 fingers and then up and out to the hairline. And then you just do that 3 times. That's it.
Just
That's
3.
it.
Wow.
I love this.
I love this. And fingers. No,
and
you're not
the
using.
The nervous system loves an odd number.
Yeah.
So 3 times, 5 times.
And you're not using a tool. You're not using a gua sha.
Nope.
Fingers, guys.
Yep.
Wow.
That's it. So
I'm going to do the whole thing at home tonight.
Yeah. So the whole, all those girlies telling you to gua sha for 20 minutes.
No.
They're just trying to sell gua shas.
But if you do this a little bit every day, and we're all in traffic, this is a great time to just take advantage of being stuck in your car.
Yeah, this one you can do in traffic, everyone, if you're listening to this in the car, not the colon one.
Yes, and it will wake you up
as
well. It will wake you up.
Yeah, keep your hands on the wheel, maybe at a light.
Use your knee if you have to. It's fine.
I mean, this is like the 405. Like, you're not moving. We know you're not moving.
Yeah, we're talking about bumper to bumper.
Set the brake and just go for it.
So placing the gentle, loving knuckles above the eyebrow, and then you're lifting up the forehead as if you're lifting the whole eyebrow up towards the hairline.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a facelift.
Yes. And it will retrain the forehead as well.
Oh,
So this 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
And you have to like push it out though towards your hairline.
Yeah, because you want to finish it out. I think that's really key with massage is, and I see this a lot on TikTok or Instagram, is people are stimulating something quite quickly and vigorously, and then they don't send it somewhere.
Send it back. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you want to send things to the hairline because the lymphatic system travels, downwards in little rivers and tributaries. And we have lymph nodes along, not so much the hairline, but down here in front of the ears.
Right here, right?
Behind the ears, right here, right underneath. There's a bunch here.
I get very stressed about doing gua sha because I always feel like I'm like, what if I don't get it like into the lymphatics? Like, what if I don't drain it properly? And then I get very nervous.
I always just feel like
your
I'm like
body is
scraping
way
my
too
skin.
smart for that.
That's so fair.
True.
That's so fair.
It's way too smart. And if you move it to the left, it still knows to drop down.
You have the this course or this masterclass, I don't know what you call it, where it's you like work with people what their dating profile?
Face reading for online dating.
Ooh.
Because my friends were like, when I was dating, my friends were like, this isn't fair. You have like a secret superpower.
Well, you do have a one-up.
Will you read this guy? Will you read that guy? Will you read this guy? And so I thought, okay, it's time to put a class together so that, you can kind of see. So, things to look for are like, I really value honesty. That's a big deal for me in partnership.
So can you see if a guy's like a liar?
Yes.
How?
So
Tell our friends at home.
the line in between the top lip and bottom lip. So where that top lip and bottom lip come together, if it's straight across, this person is a very straight shooter. They're direct, they're honest, they can be transparent, they tell you what's on their mind, and they're not like leaving this whole other world out. If there's like a wavy curve in that line where that top and bottom lip meet, they might not be a liar, but they aren't telling you everything. They're not confident.
You looked at my lips so fast.
No, I'm not looking at your lip. I was looking at your eye. I was
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what shape mine makes. I'm
Wow.
scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so interesting though, because you're right. I feel like men usually come across a photo where it's like more stoic, where I feel like a lot of women's, we're like
smiling or wearing
Yeah.
sunglasses and it is like a superpower. So you could just like be in the supermarket and like the checker and you're just like, I see that you have blah, blah, blah. Oh, wow. Like being a mind reader.
Yeah.
Does that happen? Are you like always reading faces or can you turn it off a bit?
No, I turn it off.
Okay.
A lot.
Wow.
Because I don't need, no one's asking me to do that.
Yeah.
And you probably just also don't have to be invested in like the checkout person
yeah.
or like somebody who like.
But when you're dating and you're swiping, like that is such a helpful tool.
And I kind of had little experiments with myself where I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. I'll go out with this person anyway. And I was like, ugh, should have called it.
Would you
like,
tell
waste of time.
people when you were dating them, like
No.
that you could read their faces?
No, I wouldn't. So you can totally tell if somebody's lying or a practiced liar from facial features.
Wow.
Ooh. This is all
This
so
really changed my life so
I know.
far. Like,
I want to like.
Yay.
I think we each want to book like 4 hours with you. Like I want the intensive. You should do like.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm like I want to just like do this every day.
I want to do this every day. Okay. Well,
I also do want to move on to our game because I'm very excited about this.
We're excited for this game. Since you do have this superpower of reading faces in the wild, we thought it would be fun if you could read some faces that we all know.
Yes.
Quickly, it doesn't need to be in depth, but if you could just tell us about some of these people from their faces, I want to know what your perspective is. Number one.
Beyonce. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so Beyonce, if I can kind of recall from, because we have this photo of her right now, which is at an angle and smiling on the side. But I believe Beyonce is both a Jade King face.
Just like Justina.
Me and Beyonce.
Woo!
One thing in common.
So again, Jades are incredibly charismatic, a ton of courage. Their brains work faster than everybody else's, and they can mind architect. And if you look at Beyonce's career, I mean, she's broken every rule. She's broken every mold. She's reinvented herself again and again and again. She's also, a king. She's a total boss.
Like Justina.
Mm-hmm.
That I mean, thank you, but that resonates so much for Beyonce, right? Like what? Like of
it
course,
really resonates for Beyonce. Wow.
She also has, that arch in her eyebrows, which can indicate like really high expectations. Captain America, Chris Evans. Okay, so the first thing I notice about him is his bucket. He has a wide open.
He's in the Buckethead Club.
You can come. You can join us. We're inviting you to our club. He has a wide open forehead, and so he must be curious. He loves to learn, avid, voracious learner. He also has a bit of that M shape in his hairline. So, not quite a widow's peak, but very ambitious, you know, business savvy, probably has his hand in multiple projects at once. He has horizontal hands in many honeypots.
I'm just thinking, that's so bad. I know you so well that like I'm in your head doing your voice, being like, he could have his hand in my projects.
That is not at all what I was thinking. but I like
it is now.
Yeah. Now we're all thinking it.
So he has some horizontal lines across his forehead, which just is an indication of needing digestive enzymes because there's a bit of breakdown in the colon.
Oh, right. Because
you can see them in mine too.
Is Chris Evans constipated?
I mean, he doesn't look like it here.
I wasn't sure if you could see that from his face.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can sometimes.
Oh, everyone's talking about this guy right now.
Who is that?
Drake.
Oh, okay, great.
But I like that you're coming from this neutrally.
Yeah, I don't really know much about him. He's a musician?
Yeah. And
Again,
we've all
I'm the
seen
worst millennial.
I'm obsessed
We've
with
all,
you not knowing who Drake is.
we've all seen a little too much of him recently.
Oh, really?
So I'm very glad that you
What do you mean?
don't know
Like
who
a
he is.
naked photo? What do you mean?
We all saw his penis recently.
Oh. Okay, well, good
Yeah.
for him.
Can you tell us
just went,
anything
"What?"
about? Can you tell us anything about it from
Can you tell
his
us anything
face?
about
Well, the nose is often,
the tip of the nose is the penis.
yep, is revealing in that way. But what stands out to me are his lips. So that shaped lip, Cupid's bow lip, which means there's like peaks in the upper lip. You
I
have
have
them.
a Cupid's bow. You have a
really
Cupid's
good
bow.
one.
I do.
Yeah.
Highly creative.
I draw mine on sometimes.
Ooh, cute. Highly sensitive.
Mm,
So,
he is
Yeah. Drake.
pretty sensitive.
oh, well.
See, this is fun because you
Yeah.
don't know him well, but
No,
you're
I don't. I
accurate.
really don't. But very full upper lip and very full lower lip. So again, lower lip is intestines, upper lip is stomach. He is very sensual, very sexual,
Well,
you know, and also has a large appetite for food or pleasure or fun or, you know, earthly pleasures. One more thing to say about Drake here is his earlobes are detached,
Ooh, what does that mean?
Oh yeah.
which means individuated. He's choosing a different path from his family. He might hold different belief systems. He might have moved really far away from family. Not that he's against his family of origin. I really don't know his background.
He's from Canada, so that's
Oh,
also pretty cracked.
yeah. But it just means that he can create a life for himself where he does not feel he needs to be in close proximity to his family to maintain who he is or maintain his own belief system.
This is fascinating.
Who's this?
This is Jeremy Allen White.
I actually have no idea who this is. So,
Ooh, so we'll read him cold.
yeah, we're going to read him cold. And again, hopefully this photo isn't, well, we know it's not flipped because there's writing in the back.
No, this is very recent.
Great.
This is like last month.
Okay, great. So what I love is the inconsistency, and this might just be his held expression at the moment, but this is a perfect photo to read because he's neutral. There's no smiling. He's pretty serious in it. And you can see that left eyebrow is higher. It's raised above the right. So he's a little bit more open on his left side, his father's influence side, and also his innermost soul essence side. That right side, there's heaviness in that upper eyebrow, in that upper eyelid. That is mother's influence, and it's also career. It's, you know, external relationships to friends and family. It's who he is as a philanthropist. It's who he is on social media. There's weight on him.
So if you were to come across this person on a dating app, would you swipe right?
I don't know. He has a bit of a curvy line in his lips.
I was just looking. I'm not going to say this because I will not be wrong twice.
No, he
but
does. He does.
It's not looking great.
He does.
Yeah.
If we want to get a zoom.
And again, this doesn't necessarily mean he's a liar. It just might mean he's not practiced or comfortable really revealing his whole heart.
And he has a very interesting face. So
He does have an interesting
like,
face, but there's
in
also
life.
something unsettled with the eyes that I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't go on a date with this gentleman. I have no idea who this is.
Tom
Oh,
Sandoval.
this is perfect.
Gosh.
It's okay.
Okay, so
read him neutrally.
the first thing I see is he has a really pointed chin. This is highly sensitive. So he has a king face, but he also has a bit of a fire face and tree face. So fire faces are highly sensitive in every possible way. Sensitive to other people's energy, sensitive to their own emotions, sensitive to food, sensitive to environments, often very intuitive, very psychic, but will personalize everything. They'll take everything very personally.
What about the mouth? Does the mouth tell you anything about dishonesty?
Well, I was saying he can lead, and then I was looking at his mouth and I was like, but can he? Because the upper lip is not nearly as full as the lower lip. So there's imbalance there. In the stomach, it's tightened, it's squeezed, it's maybe a little less expressive.
You seem constipated.
You see constipated. I mean, yeah, he could be a little constipated in this photo. I also see that unshed tears again on the mother's side. So underneath that right eye, there's a little bit of swelling, which in traditional Chinese medicine, we call that unshed tears. So there's just there's sorrow or sadness that's held.
On a dating app?
Well, I would say no. I don't remember what right or left means.
Or I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, I
no
would say
yes.
no. For personally, for my taste.
Mm-hmm. Based on
mostly because of the eyes.
Weirdly, some of the things you said gave me a little bit of like empathy where I'm like,
Oh,
wow,
totally.
maybe that, like, I think that actually is interesting, right? Where you can,
The unshed
you can
tears
understand the
and-
why, maybe not necessarily like want to go on a date with them, but
Right.
Exactly. You're not just
Right.
looking and saying like that person is a liar. You see like the sorrow or the family history or the things that, because everybody has something, like people are the way they are because of how they were treated or how they were raised. And
Yes.
so yeah, and since you don't know who this is somebody who's been under a lot of heat in like the last year for having a very famous affair, and has definitely been like villainized by the public while he's still in the public eye.
But
and
he
that's
plays
gotta be
into that a
difficult.
lot,
But he
which is
plays
really
into it,
interesting
yeah.
when you said the lip thing where you were like, he can lead, but then you were like, can he? It was like a really interesting moment where I was like, oh yeah, I think that he wants it so badly, but it doesn't necessarily pan out for
he's
him.
currently trying to like control his narrative and
He's
a reality
There's a lot
star.
of control with the expression and the amount of generosity that's going out with the
that's
lips.
fascinating.
Oh no.
Maggie.
Who's in there? I don't know who these celebrities are.
I don't know if we should do it, but it's
The genie from Aladdin.
we didn't know this was in here.
Well, okay, you know what's interesting about this is, the ears are very readable as well.
Yeah.
So the genie has very pointed ears at the top, which actually is an indication of trauma, and he's
has been
stuck
in a lamp.
in a lamp for centuries.
It is pretty dark in there.
But he also has really juicy earlobes. I mean, they're full, which is actually in traditional Chinese medicine a sign of really good luck. Matchmakers look for men
Fucking lamp, of course.
with big earlobes because they can manifest a lot of abundance, financial abundance, and they're really good at managing money.
As in
Oh,
wishes.
if you got a juicy earlobe, call me.
yeah.
Please.
Once again, I'm like, do I have juicy
I know,
earlobes?
I'm
I
like,
have to check.
my earlobes are not juicy.
So when you're swiping through whichever app
I'm
you
gonna
choose,
be like, send me ear pics. This is so
Thank
fun.
you.
I want to
This
do
is
this all day.
so fun. Thank you. This has been the coolest mini microdose of your masterclass. Like, we are both going to sign up for an intensive. Tell everybody how they can find you. Like, you can obviously on your Instagram, you have a lot of videos of how to do all of the things she's describing, like the hook in the mouth and everything. So yeah, where can everybody find you and see your stuff and book with you?
Thanks. On Instagram is a great place to start, which is my full name, Julie Civiello Polier. My website is also, has the updates about classes. So there's going to be a masterclass each month. And that's my full name as well, julieciviellopolier.com.
And people can connect with you virtually, right? If they don't live in LA. Great.
Yes. I pretty much only do virtual work these days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You don't even have to leave your house to get your face read, you guys.
No.
We learned so much today.
We learned so
any big
much.
takeaways? King
I mean,
Justina.
just thank you. I feel like that was much better than I anticipated. I was very scared going into this episode. That was very
so nervous.
I think that, and I mean, you said this at the beginning. It's like the letting people see you.
Yeah.
That's like what gets overwhelming to
true.
me.
Yeah.
But
we found out you're a king.
I'm a fucking
Which
bucket-headed
really
king.
tracks. This is the Bucket-Headed King podcast.
No, but thank you. This is so
thank
great.
you. This was so cool.
I love this.
This was so cool. I want you to come back to every episode and just sit in the corner and like read our guest voice.
We have you in the armchair, like right behind the desk, and you're just like staring.
Yeah, like
at
we
them.
cut to you and you're just like,
so
actually,
who's
they're
that person?
They're lying. Actually, that person's lying.
It's like a human lie detector. I love that.
Anyway, so that's our show. Thank you guys so much. Follow Julie. She's incredible. And throw us a toodles.
Toodles.
Toodles.